What's going on, Schmac Talk? Welcome back to another episode. And like we said last week, we're just hopping back into the world of sports.
It's hoopy ball.
Well, let's play some basketball, boys. Some backyard basketball, but like college basketball.
Yeah, not backyard. We're not going to like the.
I'm gonna pick up Pablo Sanchez though.
Pablo was the cheat code.
If you don't know who Pablo Sanchez is, like you got to go play some backyard sports.
Cheat code in everything.
Literally the most broken player you could pick in any backyard game ever created. Basketball, football, baseball.
I want to get those
soccer
now.
I kind of want to too.
I had them for my old computer, but nobody takes discs anymore.
What's a disc?
What's a computer disc? Wait. What's a computer with a thing that you can put discs in, right? Like I don't think my laptop has. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I thought it did.
Wait, I don't have one. Yeah, right? I don't think I've had one ever
in a
on
while.
Any computer that I've had. My parents have one on theirs, but theirs was also like the last model I think I've ever seen of a computer having.
That's what we were talking about. We were talking about how I want to get a PC and that doesn't have a disk insert.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything you can just download, put it on your hard drive though.
But can you download
Yeah.
Oh, download backyard football for Windows. I don't know. That's just a random website. I don't know if I trust it.
Yoink. I'm scarping out of there.
It's gets computer hacked.
Gets virus.
Let's try GameStop. Backyard.
GameStop's probably got something. You can probably get it for you might be able to get it for PlayStation 2.
Backyard football. There is nothing.
Now I gotta look at this. Sorry guys, we're going on a little tangent.
Backyard basketball. There's nothing. When you type in backyard on GameStop, what comes up is Kidcraft Backyard Sandbox Espresso.
What?
Yeah. Oh my god, no results found for backyard basketball. It just takes me to NBA 2K. That's pretty cool. You could buy the NBA 2K edition, but WNBA, that's cool. The cover athletes WNBA, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Well, I guess we'll have to figure out backyard sports later.
Yeah.
Well, that was unfortunate sidetrack.
I know. Now I'm like, shit, I want to play these.
I know. Okay, back to what was March Madness. And I think this year truly, I feel like we say this every year, it lived up to its name, but come on. This year really
Mayhem. I literally
switched
don't
to
know
Allstate.
How else to say it. Yes,
and you can avoid mayhem. That's the only thing I was thinking about.
They're obviously not using Allstate because
we're using State Farm.
Okay, first of all,
State
Arkansas,
Farm won't protect you from your number one receivers getting traded. Oh, sorry, was that too real?
That's a shot. That's a shot.
Yes, I'm very upset with my Packers. Okay, continue.
I mean, just look at what the Browns are doing, and I think you're all right. I mean,
yes, that is true. Aaron Rodgers doesn't molest masseuses.
Yeah, yeah.
God, we are not on track at all.
Sorry, in case you didn't hear, the Browns are making some questionable football decisions. We'll probably have an episode next week, maybe.
It's not
about
questionable football decisions. It's questionable just ethical decisions.
Yeah. It's he can play football, but it's what he's doing off the court, you really don't want on your team.
It's an issue with what you do with the masseuses.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to see Baker gone low key because he wasn't gonna amount to anything. Don't at me.
No, but you should have waited a year for CJ Stroud. Dummy. CJ Stroud was looking mighty fine during the pro day.
I'm just dude, why?
But speaking of which, Chris Olave is projected to go to the Packers.
And he's going to probably be a star receiver there because, I mean, what are they doing with their other receivers?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they got 0 returning stars. Oh, okay. Focusing on something positive. I'm just in my head.
It's about to be
Singing
like the replacements.
one shining moment is playing in my head because the basketball games were just so amazing. And Ohio State, I would say, didn't disappoint. They were going to beat Nova. What are you talking about? Actually, they could have, but we can get to that.
They definitely could have, but I mean, they're just like.
You just want to dive into that real quick?
Yeah, honestly, that's a good spot to start.
We'll start with Ohio State and then cover everything else. So if you're not an Ohio State fan, bear with us for about probably 10, 15 minutes, 15 at max. It's not going to take that long. I mean, it's only 2 games to break down.
Yeah, so it's not anything crazy. I'm surprised they got as far as they did, just based on the track record that they've had the past couple of years.
You didn't trust them against Loyola Chicago? Because I sure didn't.
Neither did I, brother.
Oh my gosh.
That was one game that I checked into and I was just like, out first round. All right.
It gave me Dayton vibes all over. I was like, oh my God. But no, that game, that was during the school day. For those of you who don't know, my day job is I am a middle school teacher. Thank you for all the prayers. Okay. But it was the thing that was awesome. It was during my honors class. And we were just doing a test review, getting ready for a test. And so I just sent them on their merry way. And I said, go work on this. And I took out my phone and I streamed it from my phone because I couldn't do it on the school Wi-Fi because it was blocked.
That's smart IT man right there.
So I pulled it up on my phone and it was 9-11 with half of the first half left, and they were just playing awful. And I was like, and someone's like, Mr. Jinx, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm watching Ohio State right now, and they're sucking.
And they're just like, Ohio who?
I had a student sitting next to me during the game because she focuses better if she's close and can ask questions. And she was like, are they winning? And I was like, yeah. She's like, then why are you upset? I was like,
this should have been blowing them out a little bit, but
well, yeah, you know what? The final score, they pulled away by 13. Yeah, they ended up winning by 13. I mean, that was probably one of the worst games of the tournament. And we're being completely honest in terms of the inability to score.
Yes. I literally
I'm looking through the bracket right now, and Loyola Chicago scored the least amount of points in a game. Yeah, that was bad.
It was literally I literally checked in.
That lockdown, I think it was Buckeye defense.
More like it can't hit our shots. Lucky ass defense. Because it was literally
lockdown defense.
They were literally just going back and forth, throwing up duds, and I'm just like, oh my God, what am I watching right now? I was literally so at work, we had it on one of the projectors in one of the conference rooms. And I was helping someone out at their desk. And then I came back. I walked by. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me?
It was bad.
I was like, you would think that okay, Loyola was going down, throwing up duds. And I was like, okay, you would think with the team Ohio State has and how they play, they would be just throwing up threes left and right, just basically at least scoring something.
Yeah, I mean, all we heard all year is 3-point shooting, right? All we heard is them preach about how much they worked on shooting the three, and then yet what we saw was they looked like crap. And I think that was just more of their confidence was at level 0.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about, I think we talked about it off air. We just talked about it to each other, but when they limped into the NCAA tournament. They lost 4 of their last 5, and all 4 of those that they lost, they were leading in the second half.
Yeah, literally going
And
into
they
the second
blew
half,
it.
we're up, and then like we're pretty much held, I'd say, most way through like mid second half. And then the last just
And
10
it
minutes,
just
they're just like,
collapsed.
oh, we're supposed to play basketball right now. And I'm just like, guys, what is going on? Like,
Yeah, and so I think that played a large role because so what we're looking at here is you lost 4 of your last 5. So I think we can back that up. So they won 3 of their last 7. And it was more of, actually, no, back it up even more. So 9 games, the last 9 games of the season. This is when you saw them start falling apart.
yeah,
They get utterly destroyed at home against Iowa, right?
mm-hmm.
Iowa came in, smacked them all over, which also, Iowa fans, if you're listening, I hate you even more now because I picked Iowa to go on a run in my bracket, and I should have known better.
Do?
You're all so hot, right?
Huh?
I was hot.
Huh?
I was going to be, make a run. And you know what? I listened because you were Big Ten and you smacked Ohio State's ass. And so I was hopeful. And then,
I mean, but I think that's
like,
one thing that you can see, like going into the tournament, those teams that are going on those streaks, typically I feel like fall off once they get to the tournament, unless they're just
and
super hot.
We can
in the
dissect
tournament.
some of those too.
Like
we can
it's
dissect
just
some
one
of
those things. Like once they're picking up heat, like going in probably last 10 games usually, and then we're like, oh yeah,
they're
going Final Four.
They run out of gas,
and then they get to the tournament and like first round chalk, and then the second round, pretty much all of them are chalked at that point.
Well, let's just talk about a couple that because you brought it up, and then we can go back to the schedule of doom for Ohio State. I'm glad you brought that up because Tennessee, someone went on an amazing run in the SEC, won the tournament, if I'm not mistaken. And I watched a couple of their games. I was like, man, this is a really good team. I'm a little scared because I haven't seen, the consistency of it. Yeah. But this is a really good team. And so I picked them to go on a run. And, I will say their loss to Michigan. Michigan, I think, was underseeded. We all knew Michigan was good. They just had an up and down season. But we all know, I feel like Michigan and Michigan State and Duke and North Carolina are all those teams that once they get to the postseason, you're like, those teams, doesn't matter what they're ranked, they're going to go on a run.
Yeah, but then they get there and then just kind of fall apart because I don't know. I feel like those last 10 games.
Saying, I agree with you. I'm saying like Tennessee and Iowa are in the group of they were hot before they went in.
Yeah.
And then fall on their face. But Michigan State, Duke, North Carolina are in the group of it doesn't matter how they finish.
But then I feel like
they're
I don't know what the factor is, but they're a team that's consistent when it comes to
it doesn't matter how they are coming in.
Like I think a lot of it has to do with I mean, first, I mean, you got coaching. Yeah, exactly. Like if it wasn't for their coaches, culture. Their coaches are there. They're like, hey, we make it to the tournament. If you're not here to go and win out the tournament, I don't want you on my team. If you can't handle the pressure of going back to back to back, then
well, I think that's what you live for.
Caliber,
in an athlete, because I mean, obviously, like I've been in their scenarios, and it's been slightly different because it was baseball, and I feel like baseball is a little bit even more like basketball. It's you play your game, all this stuff, but you go into the sense of once you get in, it's just hey, win, survive in advance. I don't care if we win by 1. I don't care if we win by half a point, whatever it is. Like, I don't care if you have to play the last minute without your left shoe. Like you're gonna find a way to win, right? Yeah. And baseball is similar. So I understand. But with an athlete, you like when it comes to that elimination game and the NCAA regional and the NCAA super regional, when you've already lost a game and your back is completely against the wall, you live for that moment. So I don't know if it's necessarily, player. I think it's more of the culture, and I think the culture with the Dukes and the North Carolinas and the Michigans and the Michigan States, we'll throw Kansas in there too, as well as Villanova, because they're constantly there. I think it's more of, all right, doesn't matter what we're ranked, we're we're here. We build on excellence. If you're good enough to be here, then you are good enough to make a run. And I think that's what they feed off of. And then you have other teams, and I'll throw Ohio State in there. It's the whole of we're just happy to be there.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue.
Yeah.
Is that right now we're just happy to be there. And like I think Tennessee was like that. They're like, man, we're on a good run. We made it. Like, let's go. But they don't have the grit. They don't have the I will literally do anything to win this game, to survive and advance.
Yeah. And I think that's where, the boys and the men get separated there. Like,
oh, absolutely.
It's nice to make it to the tournament, but like, it's like, okay, we made it to the tournament. Cool. Back to focus. Cause like, you can be like, oh yay, we made it to the tournament. Oh, we lost first round.
Yeah.
It's like, but we made it to the tournament, but it's like, who cares? Like,
Here's the thing I've noticed. Pay attention to this next year. Okay. When they do the selection show, make sure you watch the selection show. You can tell who's going to go on a run and who's going to fall flat in their face based alone on the, the 4 seed of the West is Arkansas. I'm just throwing out a name, right? Like I think they actually were like one of those, the 4 seed of something.
Arkansas went to Elite 8.
Yeah, I was just throwing out a name because I feel like Arkansas is just popping up out of nowhere now for every sport.
Yeah. Like, okay,
we're gonna have to go.
Looking at the bracket and was
but like, pay attention during the selection show. The teams that go, typically they get bounced. They get bounced fairly early. I remember with Thad Matta when it was like the team, like the David Leidy, John Diebler, Aaron Crabtree, like William Buford. It was Dallas Lauderdale. It was
a
like
different
they
culture
they were excited that because that was the year they won the Big Ten tournament, right? They were regular season champs and tournament champs. They were the number 1 overall seed, and the number 1 seed is Ohio State, and they're all and sat down.
Yeah,
because it was the mentality of, okay, we're
getting to the tournament.
Let's go.
It's like we want to finish this tournament. We won Big Ten. We won normal
checked
play.
It off. You checked it off, and
let's add that third check mark. Let's go.
Exactly.
And
I think that's how the football team. I hope like what we've talked about. I hope the football team gets back on that. I think Ryan Day's really trying. I think what happened was Ryan Day saw last season and how the culture got away from him a little bit, and he's now surrounded him with better culture coaches in order to reestablish that. So I am very optimistic and excited about it, but we'll see what's going to happen. But that's what him and Urban Meyer always talked about. Okay, yeah, your first goal is win the game, right? Before that is win practice. Okay, win the quarter, win the game. Okay, now you just repeat those steps for 12 games.
Yeah.
And then you win your division, you win the conference, you get to the playoff, you win the semifinals, and then you win the national. Like, it is a check. Like, you go until you get to the championship, right? Like that checklist. And some basketball programs have that. Some basketball programs, the checklist ends after NCAA appearance.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue.
Yeah. And that's where, like we were saying earlier, that's where you get that separation of these are the top dogs. These guys aren't the top dogs. Like, it's all about those. It's one of my favorite, like, ideological
things.
Yeah. One of my favorite
ideologies.
One of my favorite ideologies is aim small, miss small. And I feel like that kind of puts into, basketball, like, ooh, I'm aiming for this part of the net, but like, that's not relevant right now. But like, you got to win those little battles to get the final picture. It's like putting together a puzzle. You got to put all those small pieces together to get the bigger image. If you're just worried about like, oh, we just want to make it kind of look good, then like you can kind of just like throw some pieces together.
If you want to,
like,
add to the banners of appearances, then yeah. And I think it's like that in a lot of sports. I can speak from personal experience with, with college baseball. It was at the beginning of every season, it was, okay, what's our overarching goal? Well, obviously our overarching goal is to win the NCAA championship. We want to win the national championship. But in order to reach that, so we would have that at the very bottom of our goal sheet. And we had a goal sheet that we filled out every single week. Yep. And it was win the NCAA World Series. Okay, well, in order to get there, you got to win the Super Regionals. In order to get there, you got to win the regionals. Okay. And then in order to get there, you got to win your conference tournament to make it the easiest path because of automatic bids and everything. But we broke it all the way down to, in order to do that, you have to win every at bat.
Yeah.
You don't have to win every pitch because guess what? Pitchers are going to fool you, right?
Yeah.
They're going to throw a curveball when you're not expecting it. Okay, your knees buckle, whatever. Okay, if you lose that at bat, you can't lose the next one because you got to win the at bat in order to win the first 3 innings. Okay, you win the first 3 innings, aim for the second 3 innings. If you win the last 3 innings of a game, you normally win the ball game, and that puts you 1-0 for the day. Yeah, I think you can break that down into every sport.
Yeah, it
is like the little things that accumulate.
Like, first, in order to win this game, how are we going to get there? All right, well, we got to get first downs. That's a big thing, you know, at least for football. You got to get first downs. Yeah. Okay,
well, you got to gain yards, right?
Yeah, gain yards. Okay, so like you want to have a positive yards per play. Yeah, there we go. I was like, wait, I think that's right, but
you don't want
there's
negative.
A different term. Yeah, I mean, you obviously don't want negative.
I'll fire at Akron all day. Although I was very pleased with Akron's effort in the NCAA basketball tournament.
Yeah.
I know you weren't rooting for them.
No. That's just kind of like against the alma mater, so it's like can't do that.
Go Zips. Did you know Zippy is a female?
What? Say what?
Did you not know that?
No, I was it. I think when I toured Akron, they're like, yeah. Someone asked that. I was like, oh,
because Zippy has a pouch.
Yeah. And they're like, in case you didn't know, it's a female kangaroo because only the female kangaroos have pouches. I'm like,
what's Kent State's mascot name? Goldie the Golden Flash. I'm looking it up.
Flashy, dead ass.
Is it really?
I think so. Or Flash or something.
Why every time I type in Kent State Matt, it comes out Kent State Massacre?
I mean, literally,
it's Flash the Golden Eagle.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, so I was right. It's Flash.
Oh my god.
But like, yeah, anytime anyone, I would be like, yeah, I go to Kent State. They're like, oh, did you hear about the shooting? I'm like, yeah, I did. Yeah, it's kind of everywhere on the campus. And anytime I talk about going to school there, everyone's like, oh, there was a shooting there. I'm like, yeah, I know. There's a bullet hole right there
like,
to prove it.
Thank you.
Like, wow, yeah. There's all these graves in the parking lot. It's like, cool, nice. You know, I mean, like, RIP everyone that lost their life and got injured there. But like, yeah, tragedy. But like, it gets old after like a while of like people talking about it, and I'm just like, okay, you know, it's fine. But I was actually kind of surprised they didn't make it into the tournament, because I'm just like,
Kent State,
because
you're a MAC team and you lost to Akron.
Ooh, we got
MAC
some lag here.
Got suspended for saying F Akron.
Wait, what?
Oh no.
Can you hear me?
No, what? Me? You got lag?
Yeah, a little bit.
Good.
Wait. Oh, I'm not on Wi-Fi. Dad, what's happening?
Oh
no. Wait, here, coming back. Can you see me? Oh, frozen?
Yeah.
Nick Jenkins, network bandwidth is low. Bruh.
I don't know how to do anything about that.
Is your phone on Wi-Fi?
Maybe.
That might help a little bit. I don't know how much though.
I don't know.
Are we gonna have to restart network equipment?
I hope not, because then we're screwed.
Wait, let's see. Oh, there we go. Back at it.
Okay.
We're back,
So
boys.
we're good to go.
But
Okay,
so
let's just
okay, so
dive
what
in.
what happened to the Kent State player? What someone said?
Uh,
Fuck Akron.
yeah,
Or
4 of them did, so they got suspended by the conference for the championship game.
bruh.
Why you don't post it on TikTok? Like,
Yeah, yeah. TikTok's ruining people's lives.
Okay, but speaking of the better Ohio school, wrapping it back into Ohio State, I would say they scared me in the first game.
Yeah.
Oh, and I still wanted to dive into and they scared us because they had zero confidence, and that's because they got whooped by Iowa at home, blew a lead, and then won in overtime against Indiana. But then they scrapped their way to beat Illinois, which I was so impressed with. But then they got whooped at Maryland, blew a lead against Nebraska at home. They kind of routed Michigan State. They were always in charge of that game, but then blew a huge lead against Michigan, blew a lead against Penn State. And I mean, leading into Loyola Chicago, like, I mean, you sucked. Like, that was the reality of it.
Literally, but I think once they hit that rock bottom there, like they kind of had to.
Well, there's only one way to go.
Yeah, like once you're there, you got to go up. But I mean, then you're going up against Villanova, so it's like,
yeah, but
got to build that confidence back up a little bit. But that's definitely not a team I feel like you can bring your confidence right back up on, because Villanova's just kind of nasty with it.
I think if they met Nova in the third round, they might have beat them, because that would have meant they had 2 wins under their belt.
Yeah.
And like, I understand that the final stat line was you lost by 10. I get that, but I was pleasantly surprised with what I saw, because they were down by 10, 11 points at halftime, and they battled back, brought it in within 3. And then unfortunately, Kyle Young goes down with an injury.
Yeah.
And I think that was just, EJ Liddell was the best player. Malachi was the second best player, but Kyle Young was the heart and soul of that team.
And once he went down, it kind of was downhill from there.
Throughout the entire season, anytime he wasn't playing, they didn't have that Aaron Kraft, Kyle Young like guy that keeps you beating. And I think that's what showed. And, last year we got away with it because Dwayne. Dwayne Washington Jr. was a dude, and he kept that spark. And that's what, like, him and Kyle Young on the court at the same time was magical. Like, I really did love watching that team from last year, other than the Oral Roberts game where but I'm going to say they pulled a Kentucky, because Kentucky did that this year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Which we'll get to. But I think it was just, once he got injured, it was okay. I don't think there's enough in the tank. But I was pleasantly surprised with how they played against Nova. I was really happy.
One thing that I was kind of, hello. There we go. We're back. Camera issues. Whoopsie daisies. Oh, let's do this. There we go. But yeah, that's one thing that I was kind of shocked about. I used to seeing Kentucky usually Final Four,
I love it.
I'm looking at the thing right now in case you guys were wondering, but no Kentucky. Like, what's going on, guys? Like, that was one that that one threw me for a whirl a little bit. Just because I mean, based on history though, Kentucky's always at least at Elite 8.
They're the second most winningest program. They were the first until Kansas passed them. But it's not even for championships. It was just number of games won. But no, the reason why I love it so much is mainly because we had this improbable run that St. Peter's went on. I mean, it was ridiculous what a 15 seed did. And it was amazing to see it and amazing to watch it. But what made me even more happy with Kentucky losing is I have a buddy, a college baseball buddy, and he's a very massive UK basketball and Notre Dame football fan.
You're having
And
a rough year. Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
But last year, I get a text from him. How about that Oral Roberts?
How's it doing this year, bud?
So I received that text and I was like, yeah, really disappointing. Like, oh my gosh, whatever. And then for Kentucky to do the same exact thing, I was like, oh my gosh, there is a God.
It's happening. He's blessed us. Like that was so oh happy. My God. Like that was what okay. Once I saw that they made it to the Elite Eight, St. Peter's, I was like,
you were all for it, right? Like you were hoping they beat North Carolina.
Okay. And then they played North Carolina, and I was like, I didn't watch the game at all. But then like I got the notification. It was like North Carolina over St. Peter's.
North Carolina like low-key whooped their ass, yeah.
I wasn't cheering for St. Peter's, I swear. Like that would have been such a good Cinderella story, though. Like
if 15 even like, made it to the Final Four.
Okay, but how
imagine ready?
15 at least go into the Elite Eight, though.
Okay, how often does a 15 get to round 2?
That's true. That's also true.
Let's be real with it. Like how many times does a 15 get to round 2? So for them to even win the first game, amazing. And then they go out and play their game and like low-key smack Murray State. I mean, they were never really in, threat of losing that game.
Yeah.
And then they freaking said Purdue. Like,
who are you, dude? Like, come on.
I understand they only won by 3, but Purdue outsized them. Like Purdue should not have lost that game. That's the reality of it. And then North Carolina was like, Purdue, this is how you're supposed to play a team like this.
Because so I saw the Purdue game and I was like,
I watched that and part of me was rooting for Purdue because I told you I had Purdue.
A little bit of me was
I was only rooting for Purdue because I had Purdue winning it all because for some reason I listened to the evil Big Ten voice in my head. This was Purdue has the biggest basketball team. You should definitely go with them. But I was rooting for them.
How'd that go, buddy?
God, if I tell you next year that I'm picking Purdue, you need to
I'm just gonna be like, hey, last year didn't go too well.
You just need to say St. Peter's. St. Peter's.
St. Peter's. Last year, 2 years in a row.
When St. Peter's won, I wasn't mad by any means because obviously I don't care.
It was a one. I don't know. Okay, so every game that
was the one shining moment.
Was
not Kansas winning.
Solid. Like besides, Ohio State games, and usually the first round games you have like the blowout or
it's either a really close game or a blow.
Yeah. And then once you start getting into like the Sweet 16, Elite 8, that's where it starts getting like, oh my God, let's go.
Oh yeah.
But that game was crazy because I was like, I wanted Purdue to win at first. I was like, Big Ten.
And then you fall in love with the Peacocks.
But then I'm like, St. Peter's though, size wise, it was literally like watching a bunch of short people play a bunch of giants.
And it was a bunch of us playing like legit D1 people.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I could do this. And then I'm like, oh wait, I can't.
You get hope, right?
Life. Yeah. And I was just like, I was ready to see like that really set off the spark. Like, oh my God, St. Peter's is it's their year. Final Four, baby. Yes. Let's go.
I was really hoping.
And then North Carolina was just like, why are you even thinking?
North Carolina said, Purdue, hold my beer.
Yes.
This is how you do it.
And I was just like, well, my heart's broken, but it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
But I don't know. Like for me, like them losing, I was like, man, that stinks. But like the fact that you got to the Elite Eight, like that is so
especially as
so
a 15
awesome.
seed, like that's gonna go
to the
down.
Second, it's not even that you got to the second weekend. Yeah. You got to the second game in the second weekend. Like you almost got to the final weekend.
And honestly, I think if UCLA would have went in instead of North Carolina, I think we would have had a little closer of a game. Possibly St. Peter's on top.
I would say more likely because UCLA
Yeah.
was a little more
I think
inconsistent.
Yeah,
And
very
also
inconsistent compared
I
to
don't
North
trust their
Carolina.
coach at all.
Yeah.
The dude from UC. I don't trust him. So no, I would agree with you. I think matchup wise, if St. Pete's got UCLA instead, then we might have been looking at a Duke St. Peter, and then talk about
But
Coach
then
K. I think Duke would have smacked them.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think that would have been the game.
Would have smacked
like,
them.
but I would have been like, ooh, St. Pete's going into the Final Four. Let's go.
It would have been everything for the
it would
Blue
have been
Devils
Coach
would have been
K going,
it's Peacock season. Like,
oh, wait, we're actually playing these guys?
that would imagine how
Are
starstruck
you sure?
those individuals would have been if they got to the Final Four and it was, oh my God, that's Coach K. Like that's Coach K.
No.
Like how many?
Well, let's go K. And then
it's like, dude, I just hit a 3 in his face.
Let's go.
Someone get that on camera, please.
Clip it. Someone
Oh
clip
my
that.
gosh. Well, if you had a picture like that, would you ask Coach K to sign it for you?
Yeah. I would literally be like, Coach K, you're the reason I'm playing college basketball right now because you've inspired me. Can you please sign this picture of me just draining a fucking 3 on you guys, please?
Right in front of you.
Like literally, I'd walk over and just look at him and be like, ball me, Blazer.
Ball me, Blazer.
Put it up, swish it, and just look at him, pick, get that bitch signed. Going on my wall, and then I'm happy. I'm happy after that.
All right. So, we touched on the same thing. I think everybody knows. Everybody knows it's the best Cinderella story we've seen in a very, very long time. But going to the next big ticket item in March Madness, you brought it up, the historic Coach K. How do you feel about how things ended?
Okay, I'm a little heartbroken. I thought I was gonna for sure see at least Duke in the finals. Like
I agree. I agree.
But now then I'm also like, Duke, you've had your championship. Yeah. But then I'm like,
need another one.
But for Coach K though, that would have been
it would have been awesome.
Perfect ending. Hey, I'm retiring this year, getting a win in the tournament.
And you know what that would have also have done? That would have tied Duke with the same amount of national championships as North Carolina.
Yeah.
Talk about not even reviving, but just extending that rivalry. Now who's better? Like,
it's just like, I don't know. I'm super hurt about it, but I'm also like, they also don't need another championship, and Coach K has got plenty of wins.
Speaking from us, one champion Buckeyes.
Yes,
that was in 1960. We don't know what winning's like. Sorry, guys. We don't.
We just know what it's like to make it to the final game and just get shit on.
Okay, we don't need to relive Florida. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I mean, it's ingrained in my memory, and I'm just, from there
freaking
on,
joking. Noah's sitting down shooting.
Like,
oh,
we have to play these guys.
Oh, you triggered me.
Can we forfeit now?
You triggered me.
Like, it's literally that's just the game that sits in my mind. Anytime
it's
I'm like,
not even the fact that we lost.
State it was just like the whole going up to it.
I would say
looking good, and that was the year that they lost to them in the national championship for football.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm more upset about. That year is
dude, we're so much better.
But think about this.
It's like,
ready?
Why?
Yeah. Remember that was the year that it was incumbent. Florida just owned Ohio State. I mean, that's the reality of it. We go and
the memes were hilarious though.
We had this was frustrating. We had Troy Smith and Ted Ginn Jr. Okay, two of the best.
Centennial Holmes.
And you also had this dude named James Laurinaitis. Oh yeah,
Dog.
Yeah. The defense was pretty stacked. Okay,
dog.
And I'm pretty sure Malcolm was on that team too.
Malcolm Jenkins. He was senior year.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
And we go and
Don't
we're
quote me on
favorites
that.
and we lose to Florida, to Urban Meyer.
And then Urban's like,
That's when
"Yo,
I
what's up, guys? Welcome. Hey,
that's
I
when
know I
I
kicked your ass back
hated
then,
Urban
but
Meyer. Okay.
we're here to
And
win."
then we finally, because that was in January. Come April, we're winning games. We're finally over that. And then looky who we match up against. Florida. And who's the favorite? Oh, Ohio State. And then what happens? Joakim Noah and his goofy ass hair is sitting on the court, shooting a basket over Greg Oden, and then blue and orange confetti fall. Okay.
I'm like,
And so
bruh.
it was back to back, not even like year apart. It was the same academic year. And then you fast forward to the fall where we're trying to get redemption, and Les Miles comes in and smacks his LSU dick all over Ohio State
We're
in
just
championship game.
are
Oh
we
my
meant to be
God,
here?
you triggered me. You triggered me. That is like 2 years that I would love to just forget from memory.
But like, as like little things will trigger, like bring that up for me, and I'm just like, someone will be like, "Oh,
okay.
Urban Meyer," and I'm like, "Yeah, remember that one time that Urban Meyer just smacked the shit out of Ohio State?"
Remember when
And then we lost in basketball? Yeah, and then he became our coach, and we're like, "We love you, we love you."
He became our coach, and we all prayed. We're all like, "Yes!" And then everyone's like, "Wait, didn't you hate him?" We don't
No, not
talk
anymore.
about
Not anymore.
Florida.
Yeah.
We don't talk. Wait, it's really we don't talk about 07. No, we just don't talk about it.
That's true.
Oh my
my
God.
God.
I would say this about historic Ohio State basketball teams that fell short. Whatever year, I'm blanking because all the years start to run together, but I would say that Aaron Kraft, Jared Sellinger, David Lighty, Dallas Lauderdale, John Diebler, William Buford team was far better than the Mike Conley, Greg Oden team that lost to Florida. And I think them losing the way they did against Kentucky in the Elite Eight was just disgusting. A goddamn shame.
Yeah.
Because it was very controversial with how the last minute went. And I think it gypped and robbed, the country from seeing the best team play on the best stage.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever change that thought process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and speaking of that, I don't like going into this tournament. There were a lot of questionable reffing decisions. There were, and it is what it is that, we need to be realistic with refs, but we also need to hold them accountable. And I think we're getting a little out of hand with letting them get away with certain things, but I don't think that there were any controversial endings that really robbed America from seeing the best teams. I think when you look at the Final Four, would it have been cool to see St. Peter? Absolutely. But I think those matchups of Duke, North Carolina, and Kansas, Villanova, I think those were four of the best teams in the nation. Yeah. I think it gave us one of the most historic Final Four that was fun to watch. Like watching that North Carolina Duke game, I don't have either dog in the fight. I have no issues with either program. That's just me.
Yeah.
I will admit that I was pulling for Duke because I wanted to see Coach K. I wanted to see him after I saw Kansas beat Villanova. Like I personally like Villanova. I like their coach. Yeah. I like their culture there. So I was pulling for Villanova. And then seeing that Kansas won, I wanted a Duke Kansas national championship. I wanted that really bad.
That would have been such a good fit. That would have been so like historic. The best game. Because like you got like the two, I'd say two top
huge like, blue bloods.
Like, yeah. You're not
I wouldn't say top, I would say top of recent. I would say recent because again, when you look at I was looking at the national championship with somebody the other day, and UCLA and Kentucky are 1-2. I think Kentucky is still more recent, but Duke and Kansas have really taken a stranglehold on college basketball. So I would say of recent, absolutely, they're the two powerhouses.
Yeah. I mean, especially after Kentucky lost to a 15 seed.
We can only laugh so much though.
Yeah, I mean, plus like we can't really talk a whole lot. I mean, yeah, we did beat Loyola, but like just kind of pulled away.
Well, we played Nova well.
Yeah,
It'll
I mean,
be.
but like at the end of the day, Nova's got a way better team, I think, than Ohio State currently.
I
Well,
think they
okay,
had a
I'd say
more
consistently.
consistent team. Yes.
Yeah, and that's where it really
Yes, they have a
comes
more
down to it
consistent.
because like Ohio State was definitely, if their confidence is up, they can, I think that they can hang with
Oh,
the top dogs,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
their
Their
confidence
talent
is like
is up
this the
there.
whole time. It's up and
Well,
down, up and down. And
yeah,
I mean
I
that's
completely
basketball,
agree.
but I mean, you look at the top like teams, Michigan State, Kansas, Duke, who else? Gonzaga, even like
See, but
within the
I
past year,
wouldn't put
but they
Gonzaga up
always
there.
fall short in the
They
Elite
fall
Eight,
short
or
because they're
they make it to
not
the Final
in a
Four and
legit
just get clapped.
conference.
Yeah, if they
I
were
mean,
in a
that's the
legit
reality.
conference, I think that they would definitely get more of the prospects that they need. And also they would get a little more competition in
I think they
conference
would.
play.
The competition would prepare them. I
Yeah,
absolutely agree with that. Speaking of the prospects, I'm glad you brought this up. The center that they got, that like 7'1" dude, Chet Holmgren or
yeah,
whatever, who's like projected to be one of the lottery. I think it's so stupid that it's an 18-year-old is projected to be like. I mean, he's good, but whatever. It's just because of
LeBron
his size,
James. LeBron
oh,
James.
but I kid you not, I was so happy after seeing him play at Gonzaga. I was ecstatic looking back on the fact that he did not come to Ohio State, because he was gonna go to Ohio State. Ohio State was his number one for like 3 years, and then Gonzaga came calling and he went, because the dude is skin and bones.
Yeah.
He would have been eaten alive in the Big Ten. And I know there's some people out there be like, oh, so you're one of those Big Ten. Yes, Big Ten basketball is probably, them and the ACC are pretty darn close to the most physical
Yeah.
conferences out there. The SEC has some good teams. I'm not going to deny that, but they're streaky teams. They're inconsistent teams. I would put my money all day of the week on a Big Ten or an ACC team to consistently make runs. And I think it's also because we've grown up in the Duke, North Carolina, Michigan State era, and we know how good Purdue can be. We know how good Ohio State and Michigan could be, right? Like, I mean, that's the reality of it. But yeah, I mean, he would have been eaten alive. So I was so happy to see that he actually did go to Gonzaga, and it made me even happier when they lost, because I think they're overrated as heck. That's just me.
Yeah, they are kind of overrated, but I mean, I think a lot of that comes down to, like we were saying earlier, they're not in a legit conference.
Mm-hmm.
If they were in like any other conference, really,
we would see what they're made of.
Yeah, I think, well, one, I think that they would get more into playing that high intensity basketball more often.
Absolutely.
Where right now it's like, oh yeah, Gonzaga, they're blowing out the teams in their conference, but like once they can play with the big dogs, but they're not consistently playing with the big dogs, so they're not getting that exposure that they would need to be a Duke or be in North Carolina,
or
Villanova, Kentucky,
Arkansas.
Kansas. Even Arkansas this year, out of
since
freaking
they
nowhere.
Since they lost Arkansas. No, I completely agree with you. But speaking of Gonzaga, because they were a 1 seed, right? And I think that's what's so interesting, is that when you look at the Final Four, we had a 1, a 2, an 8, and a 2.
Yeah.
But I still think it was a very good Final Four. But speaking of the ones, we only got 1 in the Final Four. That's Kansas. So of the other ones, which if I see correctly,
Arizona went out in the Elite.
Arizona went out
Sweet 16.
So
Gonzaga went out
Gonzaga,
Sweet 16.
But Baylor went out in the
Baylor went
round.
out. Yeah, second round.
Now it was to North Carolina though. So of those 3
3
number 1 seeds that didn't make it, Which one do you think is the most disappointing loss?
Most disappointing loss. Honestly, I'm gonna have to go in Gonzaga. Honestly, I mean
Okay,
Arizona. So my whole logic on that is, I mean, Baylor, I think, was streaky. Like I think during like the season, they were really good. They were winning. I forget
they
their
were
record
defending
off.
champs.
Yeah, they're coming back, and I was like, they have a chance, but they also are showing signs of like once they get to the tournament, I don't think they'll be able to like keep up. I think that's where they hit the first round, and they pulled away, but then I think playing that Norfolk State or Norfolk State, I said, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you said it right.
Like that would have been a good confidence boost, but I think if they would have played like an 8 seed, not North Carolina, or like if they would have played like an Iowa or a more competitive team, I think they would have done better against North Carolina. I think they went in, played the 16 seed, and were like, oh yeah, we got this in the bag, and kind of were a little over cocky. And then North Carolina's like, hey, we're an 8 seed, we're coming for that.
Yeah, no,
and then just came in and stomped them. And I mean, you never see that team return and get that dub. You're not going to see it. It's so hard to repeat.
Oh
years,
yes.
Oh
well, so, especially because of the gauntlet that you have to go through.
Yeah, exactly. And that was one thing.
It's designed to make you fail.
It didn't surprise me that they didn't make it, so I was just like, that one I wasn't too shocked about. Arizona kind of gives the same kind of vibe for me. I think they're a solid team. I just don't think they're playing at like a high enough like level consistently to where they were gonna make any kind of run to the Final Four. I'm actually, for being honest, I was kind of expecting them to go out second round. They're playing TCU. Yeah, I was kind of expecting an upset there.
Well, it almost happened.
Yeah,
I guess that was the only controversial officiating call that I heard about.
But I mean,
frogs.
That would have been the only one. And then they go and play Houston. I kind of was like, all right, Arizona's losing their stride at this point. It didn't shock me that they lost to Houston. But Gonzaga consistently, I feel like for the past like 5 years or so, Final 14.
Okay.
So, I mean, that was one that I was like, when they lost to Arkansas, I was like, hold up, Arkansas's in this?
Like, wait, Arkansas's good at this sport too? Since when?
Since when, Suey? Wait a sec. Is this the football bracket? I was so confused. I was just like, I remember
telling Jordan, I was like, I don't know who in Arkansas sold their soul to the devil, but somebody did, because they are magically good at every sport, which I don't care. I'm for it. Let's have a little shakeup in the SEC. I don't care. We're good.
For it. I mean, I'm tired of seeing Bama in the football sector. So like, let's go. Let's go.
We are add 2 more people to the Arkansas bandwagon for football this year.
Woo, how you doing?
No, I mean, okay. In regard to most disappointing one going out, it's not Gonzaga for me, because I've seen this every year. I think that I would agree with you. It is every year. Everyone's like, oh my God, they're a Final Four team. I think the last 3 years, a bunch of ESPN analysts have picked them to win it all.
Yeah, and I think we're walking up on their year to win, but.
And I hope it's not.
Oh,
I don't like them. I don't. I'm just being completely transparent with you. I don't like them. I don't like I understand they're in the conference that they are, so they can only like control so much, but I don't like this whole cupcake bullshit leading into, because I don't think that's a true national champion then, because you're not like Duke, where you're running through North Carolina's twice a year, Virginia's twice of the year, Notre Dame's twice the like. You're not running through those gauntlets. You're not like Michigan State, who's got to, go to Ann Arbor, go to Mackey Arena, go to the Schottenstein Center, go to the Kohl Center in Wisconsin, go to Illinois' Rockin' Arena. Like, it's just, you don't have the resume for me. So I guess that's why I will always be a Gonzaga hater. And I'm fine with that.
Dude, I'm telling you, what if they change conferences though, they're gonna be dogs. Like,
I'll respect them more. I mean, that's the
you.
reality. If they go to the Pac-12, like, I'll respect you more. I mean, the Pac-12 is still a joke and everything possible, but I'll respect you more because you have to play those teams. You got to play USC's average height of 6'9" team twice a year. You got to play the historic UCLA. You got to play, the Arizona and the streaky Oregon. But just when I see them fall short every year, it's not shocking to me at this point. I'm like, oh, cool. I watched that last year. Cool. Next game. Which one's on? Like, I don't even watch Gonzaga's games. I don't. Like, if they're close,
they're kind of like
I'll
my dark horse a little bit. Like, that's the one team I'll check into in the tournament because I'm like, let's go. Okay, so you guys,
and that's you.
Is it the year?
Yeah, and that, that's you. And that, for me, it's, I don't like them. I'm not going to check into them. I will if they're like close in the second half because I want to see them lose. Which I know I'm awful.
Okay.
I'm awful, right? But I would say the most shocking at the time that it happened was Baylor, because I thought Baylor was good, but then when I started watching North Carolina, I was like, oh, this is an 8 seed, but this is like, because beginning of the year it was like, this is North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, beginning of the year, they sucked. I'll be completely honest. But then watching them, second half of the year, ACC tournament, watching them beat Baylor, like, and then after that, I was like, oh, this is legit UNC. Like, okay, Tar Heels, like, this is like, you're back.
Like, I literally felt like their season, like, they started at bottom. Like, beginning of the season, I was
them
like,
in Ohio
dude,
State,
what is going on? Yeah. Literally. And I was just like, okay, North Carolina, dude, you guys might not make the first couple of games. Like, I think they won like one game in the first like 4 games or something like that. And
it was
I'm just
rough.
like,
It was rough.
Dude, this is not North Carolina. And then next thing you know, like, they go on, they destroy freaking who they have first round? Marquette.
Which is not
that's not an easy win,
That's
like,
not.
they're
And
one of those
Marquette
teams that'll make you regret what you're doing. Like, if you're not coming to play,
beat them by what, 32? Jesus. Yeah.
And then I was
Marquette's
like,
scrappy.
okay.
Marquette is very scrappy.
And then right there, I was just like, okay, so they're gonna play Baylor. And honestly, Baylor, once they hit the tournament, they got over cocky, I think, that second round. And then it was just downhill from there. Like, I don't think they had a chance really after that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would say at the time it was the Baylor loss, just because, like, I was unsure about North Carolina, and then seeing them play, classic North Carolina, I was like, okay, it's like they're them. Like, they're not an 8 seed, they're really like a 3 seed at the lowest. But so after reflecting on everything, I think it was more of Arizona, just because, like, Houston's good. I don't have an issue with Houston. I didn't watch a lot of Houston, but I think it was the bigger shock for me because all I was seeing on social media was how great Arizona was. So I think that's why that was, because, like, every post I saw from ESPN was Arizona survives in advance. Arizona does this. Arizona does that. And so for them to lose, I was like, but you're telling me on this device that they're really, really, really good.
But see, I don't think they were that good. Honestly, I agree think they were a first seed coming into it. I mean, who was the second seed in their bracket there? Yeah, Villanova. Honestly, I think Villanova was a way better choice to be a number 1 seed than Arizona.
Think Kentucky was a better choice. If we're being completely honest, Kentucky was a better choice as a 1 than Arizona.
Yeah, and I can definitely agree with that. I mean,
or this place called Duke. What about that?
Yeah. Okay. My question: how are they a number 2 and Gonzaga's a number 1? Like, don't get me wrong, Gonzaga is my dark horse, but like,
because Gonzaga had like what, maybe 2 losses all year.
I mean, yeah, but like let's take schedule into this a little bit. Duke's going through the gauntlet, like we were saying.
I know.
Like,
I completely agree with you.
That's the
but
one thing
also
with
Duke fell
Gonzaga,
short
like,
in the tournament, in the conference
yeah,
tournament.
yeah, that is true.
So
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that a little bit.
yeah.
I was kind of
man, that would have
expecting
been
them to win that.
so.
If they would have won,
If they would have won, I would have bought a Duke shirt. I'm just gonna be completely honest.
I would have put
I
my Duke
would've.
hat on and been like,
And I
"Let's
would
go,
have. I got a Duke
Devils!"
hat. I got a Duke hat. Oh my gosh, the whole they could have played the one shiny moment as Coach K is slowly holding up his last trophy.
And
Oh
then
my
just like
gosh.
disappointed. I'm honestly I'm more sad for Coach K than I am for the actual team. For being honest, like
Yeah.
he didn't get any trophies this year, and it's like the final season. Like his
Oh my
movie
gosh,
is gonna be booty. Like it's
I
literally
would
gonna
have
be
played
just a
this out.
disappointing like final
Yeah.
season. It's like
You mentioning the 0 trophies reminded me. I saw this. I thought it was a very interesting stat that Coach K's first career loss at Duke was against North Carolina. His final game at Duke was a loss against North Carolina, and his final game as the coach of Duke was a loss against North Carolina.
yes, sir.
Oh my gosh! If you're a Tar Heel fan, congratulations!
You're just like, do you remember us? Do you remember us?
You can hang that over him,
yeah,
for the rest of his life, for his legacy. You can hold that over him. So to UNC fans, congrats, you got one. Like
you guys did it. I'm proud of you guys.
You can literally
also like kind of hurt my feelings a little bit.
Well, yeah, you did. I mean, at that point, I was rooting for North Carolina in the final. I was.
Yeah.
I don't have anything wrong with Kansas. I don't like Bill Self. That's just me. I don't like him.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, did you hear what the NCAA president said when he gave them the trophy?
No.
He called them the Kansas City Jayhawks. And then corrected himself.
Boy.
Also, that reminded me. They're the University of Kansas. I was talking to Jordan about this the other day. It was bugs the crap out. University of Kansas, right?
Yeah.
UK. Well, that's also, everyone knows UK as Kentucky.
Yeah.
But their logo, the Jayhawk, if you notice, it's KU.
Yeah.
That means that you should be Kansas University.
Yeah. I feel like there was just a little like miscommunication between like the art department and the people who set up the college.
Like, I just don't get it. Like, I understand you don't want to do UK because you don't want to like copy UK. But
I mean, honestly, though,
then change your name to Kansas University. Sorry.
It doesn't roll off the tongue as well, though. Like University of Kansas sounds way better than Kansas University.
Because the University of anything sounds better.
Yeah.
Other than
besides
Ohio State
University. Exactly. Next, you know, people are gonna be like the Oklahoma State University, and I'm just gonna be like,
see, and I don't have an issue with Oklahoma State, but I would tell them to F off.
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, you're you're crossing a line a little bit. You know,
the line that's in front of you. Yeah, you just stepped over it.
TOSU. No one just says OSU. It's TOSU.
Okay, so now you're lying. Now you're lying.
Cap it a little bit.
Although,
I'm not gonna lie.
I'll admit, my mother wanted the university to push for on sporting events when they would do the bar, and it would just be like, for Michigan it would be University of Michigan, and for Ohio State it would be OSU. She wanted them to push to add the little T, so a lowercase t, and then OSU for the Ohio State.
I think that'd be sweet. I'd be down for that. I put it in parentheses at the bottom, like you can make it small. Just put it in there.
Make it like a trademark thing.
That'd be perfect. Like perfect.
Can you just add
size,
the
slide it to the front.
trademark symbol, but
like, yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Oh my god, that would be
Oh,
great.
so we're gonna pass a bill here.
I
Let's
don't
get this
know.
change
Maybe.
made. I don't think
Maybe.
Excuse me. I don't think they'll ever change it though, just because I
No.
feel like
No,
typically
it'd be too hard.
Yeah.
It would be too hard. But speaking of Ohio State again, speaking of the Big Ten, again, another year with no Big Ten, in the Sweet 16, right? Or the Elite Eight, or
I think it's Sweet 16. Yeah.
no,
Sweet
because
16.
Purdue was there. There was only one. There was only one team in the Sweet 16, but still, out of 9,
yeah.
only one. What do you think the reason is for the Big Ten? Because I think that we have now seen a shift of the Big Ten is passing the ACC in regard to the committee. The committee values a lot of Big Ten teams over ACC teams now.
Yeah.
But yet we're failing to, capitalize on it. And I would say, like, people would be like, oh, well, the ACC got 2 into the Final Four, but it was Duke and North Carolina. Miami kind of went on a little run, but other than that, you're not doing much as a conference. SEC, you had a really bad year. The Big 12, you're on Kansas's back. Although Big 12 is back-to-back champs because of Baylor and Kansas.
Yeah, that is true.
But historically, in the last decade, you're on Kansas's back, right?
Yeah.
But we're seeing the Big Ten become this powerhouse that the SEC is, currently in football. The Big 12 or the Big Ten is trying to take them away. But why do you think the Big Ten just keeps falling flat on their face?
See, my thing with the Big Ten is I feel that I don't know if we're still a top dog, honestly. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of good teams play consistently. But I think we have quantity over quality. If you see what I'm saying.
So we have a lot of good teams, but no great teams.
Yes. Yeah. I think, like, if you wanted a team that'll go out and win a majority of their games, I'd say you more than likely want to go Big Ten school.
And maybe that's why the Big Ten gets so many in.
Yeah. And I mean, how many we have get in? I think it was like
9. It was 9.
Yeah.
It was 9 for back-to-back years.
Like, come on. Not too many conferences are putting 9 teams in. But then, that by the Sweet 16, we only have 1 tean in there.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of discourse that's happening there,
Yeah. And who was upset? Like, let's look at who was upset. Well, you had Rutgers in a playing game, lost to Notre Dame. That's not really an upset. Indiana won their playing game, but then got demolished. So that's not an upset because they were playing a 5 seed. I mean, it was St. Mary's, but it's still a 5 seed. Michigan State, they weren't upset. They lost to Duke.
Yeah.
So they lost this. Yeah. I mean, and they played a very good game. Purdue is the big one because they were upset by St. Peter's. I would say Wisconsin's next because Iowa State beat them and held them under 50 points, which I think that win, I was rooting for Iowa State for them for that game because you know me, I'm pushing for Oklahoma State and Iowa State to come to the Big Ten. So I was happy to see those Cyclones get that done. Other than that, I mean, Michigan had a strong outing, lost to Nova.
I was honestly
Ohio State
surprised.
Lost to Nova.
I thought Michigan was going to go a little farther. I thought they were at least going to go Final Four.
I would not have been surprised if they did that. Let's put it that way. Like, I wasn't like
Michigan would have beat Villanova. They're for sure beating Houston, and then they're going up against Kansas. And I think that would have been
and they're matching up. They're matching up against Kansas. That's the thing that because they got Dickinson.
Yeah,
like Dickinson's going to hold that. Yes. But I would say probably Purdue, Illinois, and Wisconsin are the big upsets because like Michigan ran the table, did what they were supposed to. Oh yeah, I forgot about Iowa. I kind of
Big Ten. Oh, we're playing Richmond. We got this one. Wait, we were supposed to play today? What?
So would you say Iowa is the worst loss?
Yeah.
For the Big Ten.
I mean, the ones that went out first round, you got Michigan State went and played them next.
No, it's Iowa and Indiana, because Rutgers was during the first of 4. So in the first round, it was Iowa and Indiana. Iowa lost to a 12 seed and was a 5, and Indiana lost to a 5 seed and was a 12.
Yeah.
And other than that, I mean, I only point out Illinois.
I think it's just Iowa was like supposed to win coming in at a 5 seat, but then just got kind of shit on a little bit. Like
fair. I only point out the others because Illinois outsizes Houston greatly.
Yeah.
And Purdue outsizes St. Peter's greatly. And Iowa State, although I was happy to see them win, did not match up with the talent that Wisconsin had.
Yeah.
I would say those 4 were disappointing. Like Purdue obviously made it to the Sweet 16 and then lost to the best Cinderella story ever. So it's like silver lining.
Oh my God.
But the other 3, I mean, just did not do what they were supposed to at all. And I feel like every other Big Ten team did. Like we weren't expected to beat Nova. Michigan wasn't expected to beat Nova.
Right, so pass through, Cat. You gonna pass through.
But I would say with how physical the conference is, everyone gets worn down.
I think it's more they're like getting worn down, but like I said, I think they're more. We're gonna win a majority of our games.
Fair,
but we're probably not gonna win the tournament.
That's fair.
But I mean, you're gonna get that though. I think a lot of it is just that the teams that are gonna win out are those standout teams in each division: Duke, Kansas, North Carolina, UCLA sometimes, #historically, but that I don't see them really making a run anytime soon. Yeah, those are really the main 3. If Michigan State, I think, was a big one. But they've kind of fallen off. They're no longer that tournament ready team. I don't know if that's like coaching wise or like just not getting the right talent that they need.
I personally think Izzo is having a really hard time with the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Because
it makes it hard.
He's an old school coach, and we've seen a lot of old school coaches retire recently because they don't like messing with that anymore. And I think with the NILs and with the transfer portal, it's making it a lot harder on Izzo than he thought it would.
Yeah, it almost makes it like a professional sport, really.
Well, you got to recruit your guys every single year.
Yeah, you have to have. You almost have to assume that everyone on my starting lineup is going to leave.
Well, just look at LSU. LSU has 0 scholarship players right now.
Yeah.
So and that's slightly a different reason, but
I think
that new coach now has to recruit. They have 0 incoming freshmen and 0 scholarship players. Like they are getting 11 guys from the transfer portal.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, that makes it hard. Like, especially as a coach where, historically you're getting someone for typically at least 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like I might get someone for 1 year and then they're going to go ahead and transfer to whatever team they want to. And like, it's so easy to put in a transfer. Like before,
you just enter your name.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah, I'm not happy.
Coach, I transferred. I'll see you guys. It's like, I don't like that the transfer portal is open how it is, because it's no longer a team sport at that point. It becomes more a individual sport, and then it makes it harder on the coaches because they have to have like the recruiting every single year. You don't have a set, hey, I'm returning this year. We got to pick who we want and who we're going to try and fight with for the rest of the season. and hopefully they stay with us to return and then come back
Yeah,
for the
I
tournament.
mean,
You're
you're
developing
looking at
players every year. You're not keeping people to develop them into the program anymore. And yeah, I understand why NIL agreement, you make money in college now. Cool. That's great. Half these people with NIL agreements aren't going to go anywhere in life. I'm talking about you, Mr. Quarterback, former OSU quarterback. I'm not even going to say your name.
Shots fired.
He's
What
not
was his
gonna go
number?
the-
What was his number?
Dude, I don't even care enough. I don't even care enough to
I don't think
remember
he
that
knows
kid's
his number.
Who
What
needs
was
to
his
know his
number?
number?
What was his
Wasn't it
number?
like 14?
It was 3.
Exactly.
You're talking
Like-
about you're talking about mullet.
I'm talking about
What? Yeah, he was number 3.
but like
14.
I don't know, dude.
That's
Are you
Ronnie
fucking-
Hickman.
Dude, it shows you how much I care about the kid. Like literally, you're gonna sign a big contract to come to Ohio State and be on the best
You
quarterback I'm
basically-
gonna start. And then you're just
Oh,
like, peace out. I'm
God.
going to Texas. I'm gonna get my ass kicked.
You base.
I'm never gonna win a game with Texas. Have a good one.
Oh my God, you triggered yourself. That is
Yes.
so-
Yes. Oh,
okay. Before you go and destroy the whole state of Texas, but don't mess with Texas.
Texas forever.
Let's go ahead.
Wise
As many of you know,
or
Kansas took home the hardwood after coming back 25 down
Yeah.
against North Carolina. We didn't even talk about that, but that's
Yeah.
okay. We're getting too late into it. Amazing comeback
Great
by the
game.
Jayhawks.
Great game.
The Kansas City Jayhawks.
I mean,
But
Kansas Jayhawks.
are way too early Final Four national champion selection for next year. Who are you picking? Way too early. We're not even a week out.
I know. I know. I'm like,
Not even a week out.
I mean,
We're 2 days out.
This makes it so hard because so many people are gonna transfer. I say
I
we're
know.
probably gonna see. I'm gonna say we're gonna see Duke. Ooh, actually, are we gonna see Duke back in?
Oh,
Duke
I
might
don't
not
know.
be back
I don't
in.
know.
Okay, Duke's scratched. I'm not putting them in the Final Four. Just because you lose a coach like Coach K, not a whole lot of people, they're going to go there for the name of the school. But then like they're going to realize, okay, unless if the coach comes in and like hits home just like Coach K or has his own thing and people really grow on his whole philosophy and everything, they're not going to make it to the Final Four. Sorry. I think we're going to see North Carolina. They're going to come back. They're hungry. I mean, dude, they just got shut out. They're about to eat, dog. And then I don't see Kansas coming back. I think Kansas is going to, they'll probably make it Elite Eight. But I don't see them going like a back-to-back year. If they do make it to the Final Four, great for them. I'm gonna take Gonzaga. Just because, dude, it's their year. They're gonna do it. I swear to God.
Well, now we know your pick.
I don't think they're gonna win though. They're gonna make it to the final probably, and then just get.
It's their
get
year, psych. Next year. Oh, now we're adopting the Browns.
Oh, Jesus, Jesus. Sore subject.
The Gonzaga or the Cleveland Browns of college basketball. Change my mind.
We'll come back to.
Better
because
yet,
I don't have a solid argument. All right.
I'll take a self jab. The Gonzaga, are they the Zags? I don't even know
I think
anymore.
they're like the Bulldogs.
Gonzaga is the Green Bay Packers of college basketball.
That's a good take. That is a good take, though. That's pretty accurate.
It is very accurate.
That's pretty accurate.
I hate it.
As much as I hate to hear it, that's was pretty spot on.
Oh my gosh.
So who do I got? I got North Carolina, Gonzaga. I'm
I
gonna
don't know
go.
anymore.
I'm gonna see Michigan. I don't think Ohio State's gonna make it to the tournament. Or they're gonna make it to the tournament. Sorry. Rewind.
Oh my
I think
God.
Michigan will make it to the tournament next year. And Ohio State's going to be there too. I don't think Ohio State's going to make it to the Final Four though. I think Michigan this year showed very promising, and if they can get a lot of their guys to come back, which I mean, you make it to the Sweet 16, a lot of them I feel like are going to come back and say, let's run it back because we can do this. And then final pick, Kentucky's gonna have to make it in.
Ooh.
Duke's not making it in. It's gonna be what it is. Yeah, those are gonna be my 4 right there. So we got North Carolina, Gonzaga, Michigan, and
Kentucky.
UK. Let's go.
Who's winning? Who's winning?
Ooh, who's winning though? Oh, I'm gonna go to North Carolina. Go Tar Heels.
It's our hill. Oh my God.
I mean, you're an 8 seat coming in. Most of your, I think, if I wasn't mistaken, actually, they might lose a lot of their starters. But tradition at UNC is pretty strong, though, and I'm gonna put a lot of weight on that because I mean, it's UNC. Let's get it, dogs.
All right. Here we go.
Let's hear it. Let's hear the picks now.
You already know. Okay.
I swear, if you say Ohio State right now, I'm gonna be like, what?
All right. No, I like the North Carolina pick. I like the Kentucky pick because I'm thinking the same thing. I think North Carolina, they're going to build off that. They're hungry. I think some guys are going to take their extra COVID year and come back trying to avenge that. I think Coach Cal is going to get a wrangle on the transfer portal, hit on a couple. I think they also had some guys injured this year that really hurt them. So I think they're going to bounce back. I think Kentucky's going to be Kentucky. Now, I like Nova just because I like Nova.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there was, if it was like Kansas or Texas Tech as well.
Ooh.
Because I like what Texas Tech is doing. I think they're a dark horse. I just think it's like hit and miss with them. I'd have to see who's coming back for Nova and Kansas, but as of right now, I would probably put my money on Kansas just because I think the heart and soul of Nova is leaving, and I don't know who they're bringing in. So as of right now, I'd say Kansas is third, and I'm saying it. The Holtman's going to figure it out. And the Buckeyes are going to make it run. Okay. It's going to happen. And I think my two worlds would collide. I'm just saying this right now because we're 2 days removed or 3 days removed, and I can say it and there's no repercussions right now. But I'm seeing an Ohio State, University of Kentucky national championship with them Buckeyes skinning them Wildcats. And I'm definitely sleeping on the couch tonight for saying that, but it is worth it. Go Bucks.
Let's get it. I mean, honestly, that's a pretty good, I think. Yeah, with Kansas, that's one that I'm just going off of Baylor this year.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, like
that's what I say. I have no idea.
It's just hard to come back, but I mean, dude, they have a shot, especially being winners this year. With the transfer portal, it kind of is in their favor. A lot of people are going to want to transfer there. Hey, you guys just won, trying to repeat.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we'll just have to find out what happens. I'm kind of ready to get into the next season of March Madness.
Let's run it back.
We're skipping the preseason or actual season, as you guys call it. Like, dude, March Madness is the season. Let's go.
Just throw them together again. Throw them all in.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh man.
Let's get it. Let's go. But yeah, So I think what we're getting to is it gonna be a Cleveland shit show next week?
Oh God, maybe we'll see.
Is it?
We'll see. We shall stay tuned.
Tune in next week, guys. It'll be a surprise. We'll probably figure out the night before what we're doing.
Don't tell them the secret.
I mean, we've already have it planned for the next 3 weeks. We know exactly what we're talking about. It's scripted and all.
Actually, it's slightly scripted.
Tune in next week, guys.